A good evening to all our distinguished guests this evening. Thank you for joining us at Demo Day for Batch 7 of 500 Global's Accelerator Program in Georgia. For those who are still coming in, please take seats closer to the front so that the ones that are still strolling in can get a seat quickly at the back. Lastly, we'd appreciate if your mobile phones are put on silent for the duration of Demo Day. To kick us off, I'd like to play a video about 500 Global and what we do. Please sit back and enjoy. Hello, Gamar Jova, and a very good evening to all of our guests, startup partners, and everyone who has taken the time to join us here in person and online today. My name is Eileen Ko, and representing the 500 Global team, I will be your host for this evening. Tonight, we will hear from our Batch 7 graduating startups, alumni companies who will share their progress since we last put them here on stage in a demo day, a panel featuring Booksy and Bolt, moderated by Tech.eu, and a fireside chat with 500 Global CEO and Managing Partner Christine Tsai, who will share more about 500 Global's investment thesis and why we at 500 continue to do what we do. Tonight, my team and I at 500 Global and Eurasia hope to bring our very best to you for a great demo day while recognizing the ecosystem and partners coming together to uplift the startups. A quick reminder that the QR code you see on your name badges takes you to our demo day event page. For our online viewers, this is a QR code you see on the screen. This page will be your mobile companion from today onwards, as all the information about our individual startups will be there. You will also be able to get in touch with our founders and stay connected with them after today. Those of you here with us tonight, I hope to see you later during the networking session, where you will also be able to meet our founders. So make sure you stay with me till the very end, where we will be serving more food and refreshments to keep you energized for the evening. Now, I'd like to invite the biggest driver and champion of our efforts here in this region to tell you more about what we do. Please help me welcome partner at 500 Global, Pedro Santos Vieira.
Is this the one I need to use? Yes? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Thank you to all of the hundreds watching at home who, for one reason or another, were not able to come in for the event tonight. As you know, our demo days are much more than a series of companies presenting their ventures to you on stage. We have a series of international investors in the house. We have media, international media in the house. And we're trying to make so that our demo days become this aggregation of efforts around technology, entrepreneurship in town. And this is a first step towards it. And we hope that next summer we'll be able to do something at a bigger scale, which we're planning to brand as Eurasia Tech Week. Tonight, you will hear a series of companies from different verticals, from different countries. And before we get to it, I would like to appreciate the effort and the energy put in to train these founders, not just to be here on stage, because that's just one small step in their journey, but to actually help them grow companies faster and globally. And so I would like to thank Justina, I would like to thank Brianna, I would like to thank Nicholas for all the effort they've been putting in the last 3 months training the companies, and also in what they will continue doing throughout the year. Because unlike most accelerators around the world, this program actually has expert staffed year-round for free for their graduates. And so our companies actually get to use their expertise after they graduate. And I would also like to thank our 500 Eurasia team, which, despite small, achieves amazing feats, including relocating from one venue to another in a period of 48 hours. So for all of them, I would like you to join me in a big, big round of applause because they make miracles. And you never clap with the clicker in your hand. The other thing I would like to say is still just about the relocation that we had to do because of the ongoing protests and demonstrations in the streets of Tbilisi, is that our experience to date running this program here for several years has been nothing but positive. And we believe that what we've done and what we'll continue doing in the future has contributed tremendously to the development of society and economy in the country, but in the region. But more importantly, we know that this would not be possible without international partnerships, without open and free trade of people, talent, and capital between the region, between Europe, between the US, between Asia. So we hope that the situation continues that way, so that programs like us, investors like others who are here in the room and invest in the region can continue their job in a very productive and effective way. In terms of the night that we have ahead, I will start the panel with Christine in a few minutes, but what I would like to remind everyone is that the application process for our cohorts is very competitive. This show is being broadcasted around the world, and in the region, many founders see this as, their first step towards raising capital, towards doing an acceleration program. And I would like to incentivize everyone who's watching now to scan this and be ready to apply for the next batch, which will start in April next year, but for which we are always recruiting the best founders. I am a bit lost with my clicker, which is unusual. And what I would like to complement my saying about the region and the economic development is that we've seen this happening in other regions. We've seen how ecosystems mature around the world. We've played our role in many of them. And as a consequence, we now have a global footprint of companies in over 80 countries. And again, we know that it is possible to grow big global companies from emerging markets to the global markets. You don't have to relocate to the US to grow a big company. And today we will have a panel to help demonstrate that with two companies from the region who were able to grow and do amazing things without having to become a US unicorn. We would like to also welcome two of the alumni from the previous batch. We will present to you 13 companies in the current cohort, but two founders who have graduated in the previous cohorts will come here to show and demonstrate the results of what they achieved 6 months after the program. If you want to get more information on the portfolio, this is our QR code. If you're here or if you're watching online, you can scan this QR code and it will get you to detailed information on all the 56 companies that we've invested and accelerated to date. They cover more than 12, 13 countries at this point. So finally, without the boring stuff, which I'll skip ahead, congratulations to our founders who've graduated from previous batches. Many of them have been highlighted and awarded many awards in the recent future, not just the typical nomination for Forbes under 30, which starts to be a trend in our founders, but also many awards. In particular, we're proud of some of our female founders, female leaders, who have been recognized recently in 2 or 3 areas of entrepreneurship. And then finally, another big shout out to our fastest growing company, obviously Practica. They are the example of what we're trying to do with this program, a company that uses Gen AI, so deep tech, to solve problems for society, which in this case is learning how to speak and communicate in foreign languages. And they're doing it in such a magic way that they went from 0 revenue when they entered our program to roughly 20 million revenue a year within 12, 14 months. So our program does marvels, but the founders also do too. So without further ado, I will take on the stage with Christine. This is a very special occasion for me, and I think for everyone in the room, because for me, because it's the first time I do a fireside chat with Christine. For the region, because she doesn't do that many of these around the world. And we're lucky to have her tonight here with us. So we're going to learn a few more things from her of why 500 started, how it started, and where it's going to go. So Christine, please join me. Okay, so now that I got rid of this awful clicker, which messed up my mojo, let's talk a little bit about 500. So the obvious question is, 500 started, for those who don't know, 13, 14 years ago?
14 and a half.
Yeah, 14 and a half. So but it's not a troubled teenager. It's a very well-behaved teenager, right?
Sometimes.
It started in Silicon Valley at a time where Silicon Valley was probably a bit self-centered, assuming it's still not. Why don't you tell us, why did you start 500? Why 500 was started with this mission already, like looking outside the valley? Tell us a little bit more about the inception.
Wonderful. Well, I do want to say, first off, it's really exciting to be here. I think anytime that we have these demo days around the world, anyone who attends our demo days, every region, every program has their own flavor and personality, but it really reminds me why we do what we do, to see these founders take the stage. And then, like Pedro mentioned, this is just one moment in their journey, but it really is exciting to see them tell all of you why they're going to change the world, and the fact that we're doing it here, and we have this program here in Georgia, and with a very diverse group of companies that are presenting from many different countries. It's quite exciting, and it kind of lends itself to why 500, why the mission. But like Pedro mentioned, 500 global. So we started 14 years ago in 2010, and in terms of like where things were and the state of the world, if for those of you who recall, I think Silicon Valley is still very self-absorbed, but if you think back to 2010, it was probably more so. But our vision at the very beginning was that given the waves of technology that were happening at the time, there's a lot of parallels to what's going on today, just FYI, in terms of Gen AI and a lot of the shifts happening. But at that time, if you remember, the big tech platform shifts that were happening were the rise of cloud, social, mobile. Think of all the companies that branded themselves as a mobile startup. Nobody says that today. Everything is mobile. Everything is the cloud companies, and the same will happen with AI. But our thesis from an investment strategy was that these were going to, one, obviously significantly lower the barrier to start a company. And two, companies just wouldn't need that much funding to get started, but they actually needed investors who knew how to help companies navigate these new social platforms, how to build companies. So kind of if you think of the whole value-add investors who had actually founded companies or operated companies, that was a very novel concept back then. Today, like probably every early stage investor you meet in Silicon Valley used to work at Facebook or ex-Uber or ex-whatever, but back then, again, in 2010, it was a very unusual type of profile. And for us, we felt that because of these shifts happening, founders would meet a very different type of investors who had actually built platforms, built companies, and actually add value in that way. and two, that the next big companies would not just come from Silicon Valley, but also come from outside of the U.S. So as early as our first fund, we invested outside of the U.S. It was a pretty small, relatively speaking, a minority percentage of the portfolio, maybe 20%, but that was very high for Silicon Valley standards. So we quickly became the investor that invested in international companies. That was not seen as a positive, unfortunately, but here we are today. And we think, I think it's really one of our biggest advantages, the fact that we do have this global footprint, that we do take these long-term bets on markets and ecosystems, because we believe, again, talent is there. Other parts of the ecosystem need time to develop, and we want to get in before others realize it. So that's testament to why we're here as well.
But so that conviction that was there from the beginning, that opportunity was not everywhere, talent was. What do you think what was the biggest maybe discovery once you guys started to invest? The first funds, the first programs were still just SF based, right? But in that process, you did come to learn a little bit more about emerging market founders and in their drive. Was there anything that particularly unexpected when you started doing the program in SF?
So in the early days, we are obviously ourselves, we were very much based in Silicon Valley and a small team. I think we definitely did as much as we could in terms of making sure that our own networks were global. We probably were on planes much more than the typical Silicon Valley VC. So as a result, we did recruit a lot of international, outside the U.S. founders into our batches. These are not emerging markets per se in terms of the economies, but like Japan, and then of course actual emerging markets like Mexico, Africa.
Yeah, but non-U.S. markets, non-U.S. founders were a new thing.
Yeah. So I mean, it was really interesting because many of them, they took, obviously if you think about the early 2010s, the fact that they are entrepreneurs at that point in time in their markets. There's a lot of they're taking a lot of risk. Today maybe it's a little bit different, but entrepreneurship was certainly not seen the same way as it might be today. There are very little resources to then uproot and come to Mountain View for 4 months, not knowing business culture. So I do think that there is a lot of kind of like that hustle that.
Right. And then from there on, basically, 500 started creating programs and funds outside the U.S. around the world. So how did you see that evolution? Is that why we rebranded to 500 Global? Or tell us a little bit more about the evolution of the company then post-US-centric. Now we have funds around the world, family of programs around the world. You've traveled to see these different ecosystems. Can you talk a little bit about these emerging markets? Are there common characteristics across them?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess like the first, our first foray into investing globally was really through our flagship fund. So kind of U.S. investors investing globally, and then kind of that next chapter was making more of a dedicated effort to invest into local companies, and we felt like the best way to be a global investor is to also be hyper-local, which meant recruiting great people, really people that we felt like we could trust, partners on the ground, and then not everywhere, but in certain key regions, we did put in efforts to raise like local funds. Many of these regions are on their third or fourth vintages at this point, and we really see this as long term. And then on top of that, I think from our learnings, we felt that still ultimately one of the best ways to find talent and catalyze the startup ecosystem is to actually deploy capital into early stage companies, but there's so much more that is needed, and we wanted to contribute through mentorship programs. So we also came into opportunities to help actually run founder programs and whatnot. So I think generally though, when we look at any region, I mean, I'd like to say that back in the day we had this big thought out plan on going into these markets, and so it was not quite that organized. But today when we look at markets, we certainly look for certain things in terms of the viability, having good partners, deal flow, talent, and that we can actually make a difference, and that we think that there's great talent there that we can capitalize on. So.
Yeah, and we talk a lot also about finding the right public-private partnership to help the inception of the ecosystems. So we have been investing in this region for a few years, even before 500 Eurasia. We have some funds anchored in Turkey and focused in Eastern Europe. Now we have this new thing called 500 Eurasia. What does that say about our strategy for the region?
I mean, generally, I think it shows that the long-term view we take when we go into regions. So, as one example, I would say Mexico, Latin America was one of the first areas where we set up local funds and we brought in a team. So that was 2011, and today that strategy is now they're on their fourth fund and they've very successful portfolio, and definitely that region has evolved a lot in terms of maturity and still has a ways to go, I think, in general, but. And now when I think about this region and especially what we're doing here with what we've now called like 500 Eurasia. It also reflects just how even beyond tech, like just how different regions evolve. Because I think one thing we've also noticed over the last few years is it's very difficult to look at just one country or one region in isolation. There's so many different corridors that have opened up that are very applicable to early stage founders. There's a lot of corridors from, let's say, like Middle East to Southeast Asia to Korea or Latin America and wherever else. So I think more and more, it wasn't like this in 2010. It was very much kind of Silicon Valley venture specific, but more and more, especially as you look at global markets, you see how important it is to be with the public-private sector. Especially in emerging markets where the government plays a very critical role in catalyzing the ecosystem.
And it's happening here, and we're happy to be a part of it from early on. In that process of like trying to launch new markets, do you see any specific or different traits of the founders from these regions, like an emerging market founder versus a developed market founder? Are there any significant differences?
It's hard to. So I think that you can. It's probably easy to generalize like, oh, the emerging market founders like have it much harder, so they this and that. But even then in the developed markets, there are certainly the founders who have all the resources, went to the quote right schools, have the pedigrees, worked at whatever tech company. But there are a lot of founders who do not have that profile, and they're in the U.S. or in Europe or wherever, and they have that chip on their shoulder. They want to prove people wrong, and I'm sure you'll find that same dynamic in emerging markets. Maybe kind of the more well-resourced, privileged founders, and then those who are not. So, but I think though, with what maybe one commonality with founders who are building in emerging markets is that it's just that much harder to do because, again, a lot of reasons: cultural, lack of funding, lack of mentorship, or whatnot. So I think, wouldn't say that everybody is like this, but kind of to generalize, I think founders who are in emerging markets trying to build companies, it's already hard to build a company. So to do it in a market it just doesn't have as many resources, it really does say something about just how much grit that they can have. So
yep,
that's what is exciting.
I have a funny story about the question though, because 2 nights ago I was doing a training session for emerging managers, and someone asked me if I used to get more scams from emerging if I used to be scammed by emerging founders from emerging markets, and I said, if anything, you get scammed by the U.S. that sell you so well on their pitches and then don't deliver. So I want to wrap up with an important topic for you, for 500, and should be for our industry, which is the diversity in the female in tech topic. 500 is probably one of the most diverse VCs in terms of female leadership. our Eurasia team, has me to like f it up because everything else is women, and they're the ones who do the jobs. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, thank you. But you are a very visible face in VC. How do you see this evolution for the emerging markets in particular? What can we do to get more female leaders coming on board and launching their own ventures?
I think it's so when I think about, let's say, that topic or diversity representation in tech and in venture. I think it's one easy mistake is to look at it in isolation, say, oh, we just need more female founders or we need more female investors, which is true, by the way. But I think it's tough to do that when I think it reflects a broader societal dynamics in terms of like how women, what roles they play in other parts of the government. Like there's a lot of I don't know what you should call it. Like, as one example, there's a very significant shift happening in terms of generational wealth transfer, where trillions of dollars are going to fall into the hands of women over the next 10 years. So increasingly, women are controlling household spend. They're more female breadwinners, and yet there's still a lot of disparity in terms of female founders who get funded, female partners, et cetera, et cetera. So I just think that as much as there's efforts, certainly I see this in Silicon Valley and in many markets around the world in terms of bringing attention to recruiting more female investors who maybe are more likely to fund female founders or whatnot. I do think it's more a reflection of society. That's always been my view. It's hard to just look at because I think the consequence of looking at it in isolation is that you have these kind of half-hearted efforts where firms will recruit women as partners or into their teams, but then they don't stay. It's just maybe just to look like they checked a box at, oh, we have our first female partner, and then does that female partner really have authority? Do they rise in the ranks or whatnot? For 500, I am proud of the fact that we, almost 40% of our investment partners are female. That was not planned. I don't know. It is that way. We are, I feel like, a minority-driven firm, at least maybe if you look at it from the U.S. context, female, minority, and the fact that we have such a global international team. It does make us look very different from a lot of firms, but I think the results have shown in our portfolio. We have invested in a lot of amazing, talented founders around the world. One example in our portfolio, probably our most valuable company overall in terms of valuation impact is Canva. We were in their first round in 2012. That is a classic example. I feel like it's such a 500 investment because two founders from Australia, no background in tech, from Perth, Australia, not even like one of the bigger cities, female CEO, minority CEO. Like, you can find great founders, and they will happen to just not be the typical founder. So I think that's we'll find alpha that way.
I fully agree. In our portfolio in Eurasia, it's also 40% female-led. So thank you so much, Christine. I think there was a good topic to wrap it up. I think everyone's getting anxious to hear from the founders.
Yeah, enough of us.
Enough of us, exactly, two talking heads. But thank you so much for coming to Georgia. Thank you so much for coming on stage with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine and Pedro, for going deeper into sharing about what makes 500 500 and views on emerging markets. Innovation is at the core of what we do here, and I'm glad we had the opportunity to hear directly from 500's leadership. Shortly, you will hear from our 13 graduating startups from Batch 7 present their solutions and achievements. My team and I are really proud to present these companies from all over the Eurasia region to you today. These 13 companies started their journey with us 12 weeks ago here in Tbilisi, right here in this dome space. They hail from countries like Estonia, Slovenia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and more. First up, to share their solution is Dennis. Growing up, Dennis was surrounded with invoice lingo, not of his own choice, because his parents were both deeply into discussing challenges and innovations around enterprise resource planning solutions. Then at 18, he hitchhiked solo across the EU to discover new adventures. Now, he's decided to capitalize on his extensive knowledge on ERPs and love for problem solving together, which brings us to DDD Invoices. Let's give a warm welcome to Dennis.
Who loves dealing with invoices? Almost no one. That's why we build DDD Invoices. We help business softwares issue tax-compliant invoices from anywhere. We sit between the third-party applications used by businesses or consumers and tax authority portals, automating compliance with local invoicing regulations. We currently help over 1,000 companies in 15 countries invoice 134 million transactions every single month. And that's because going global means navigating a jungle of tax rules and regulations. But now, governments have decided to start mandating real-time invoice reporting. And they do not accept PDF files. They require a complex data format which has to be delivered to the local tax portals in real time. This is called e-invoicing. And this results in drowning in bureaucracy, navigating chaotic regulations and really painful integrations. Companies lose up to 3 months dealing with this and get a huge fine if they're not compliant. All of this for just one single country. And if you're a global company, the problem is even worse. DDD Invoices solves that with just a single integration, a single API for tax-compliant invoicing globally. We currently have a live integration into SAP, have signed POC with Bitrix, and have serious interest from PayPal. We've also recently hit 100,000 in annual recurring revenue, have already booked 600,000 in expansion revenue from our current customers, and are on a path to grow to 1.5 million. All this is just a small part of a huge e-invoicing market which will grow 6 times over the next 7 years. And we've done it before. We've built and sold ERPs, we grew a company to 50 people and work directly with the governments. Now, we provide an API to a borderless business world, a single API to free the companies from tax complexities. One API to rule them all.
Next up, we'll be hearing from Umid, a PhD holder in economics who made it to the list of the top 100 data and AI professionals in Scandinavia. Umid is also ex-Microsoft, where he headed data and AI cloud solution architecture, contributing to promoting ChatGPT and quantum computer in Western Europe. All about technological liberation, Umid is not only a CrossFit enthusiast, but also a transformational coaching practitioner. Welcome, Umid from Tespor.
In just 1 year, we processed over 100,000 parcels, and we 10x'd our revenue. Let me tell you how. more than 40% of online orders are abandoned due to limited delivery options in Central Asia and Caucasus. That's $4 billion in lost revenue opportunities for retailers per year. In fact, poor delivery is the #1 reason why brands lose customers. My name is Umit, and I present to you Tezbar, an asset-light, AI-powered delivery platform. We help online retailers increase sales by leveraging on independent drivers and existing parcel shop networks. You see, traditional delivery companies offer solutions only in or between big cities. Tezbar does both, door to door, even between big cities. Our AI optimizes routes, decentralizes parcel distribution, and coordinates between drivers, parcel shops, and receivers. And retailers love Tezbar for scalable, faster, and cheaper deliveries. Big players like Ozon, B-Market, and Beeline can now ship 10 times more, sell nationwide, and reduce errors by 61%. And we have over 200 customers just like them. This year, we grew 40% month over month in Uzbekistan and already signed clients in Kazakhstan. These are the first steps to capturing $10 billion market of Central Asia and Caucasus. We have the right expertise to do that. I led Data and AI Architecture Unit at Microsoft. Madamin has worked with UN's global operations, and Kudrat has built solutions for HP. In Uzbek, Tezbar means go fast. Here at Tezbar, fast deliveries drive fast growth.
Our next founder is a huge mathematics enthusiast. Ira won national Olympiads, won chess competitions, and also published a paper on combinatorial group theory during a PhD program in abstract math. But before she was a mathematics and language enthusiast, Ira did consider a career of being a composer, the piano kind, and had actually created a rap album when she was just 14, the rap kind. Too cool to keep her away from the stage any longer, please welcome Ira from Algebras AI.
Localization is a crucial step in expanding business to new markets. It's not just translation. Adapting to customers' language and culture brings stronger connections and trust with audience. In fact, 76% of customers prefer localized products, and ignoring that can hurt business. For example, Airbnb increased their non-English bookings by 80% through localization. To achieve such results faster and more consistently, we built Algebras. Algebras is an AI-powered localization solution with a brand new approach. It understands not only text, but also voice context, and enhances fluency through new machine learning and data collection methods. With this, we eliminate thousands of hours of manual work, handling everything from UI localization to podcast or even entire game universes. We ensure that text and voice are socially and emotionally relevant for authentic audience engagement. For instance, InDrive, a ride app, expanded their content globally just in weeks using our solution. We support more than 300 languages, and we excel in Asian and MENA dialects, where our competitors fail. Algebras delivers 95% accuracy and works 3 times faster and 10 times cheaper. Recognized at the World Machine Translation Conferences, our team includes experts from Google, Meta, and TikTok, bringing world-class innovation to the toughest localization challenges. We address a $6 billion market. And with MRR of 20,000, we are trusted by global leaders like Ubisoft and InDrive. With proven traction, cutting-edge AI, and $6 billion opportunity, Algebras opens doors to new markets. Join us.
Omar was the winner and world champion of the Acton Space Innovation Challenge, an international contest solving challenges in space technologies. So dedicated to the space and flight industry that he and his founding team went for a zero-gravity flight with Airbus, where he met 3 astronauts in person. If all this talk about space and flight isn't giving you a strong hint about where Omar's passion lies and what his solution could be, it's best we bring the man himself up to share more on Nexus Lab. Come on up, Omar.
It's been just 2 months since the European Union has announced the new regulations on non-CO2 emissions. And since then, we've started piloting our solution with Iberia, and we are actively in discussion with 4 other major airlines, including United Airlines, to help them navigate these new regulations and reduce their environmental impact. Hi, my name is Omar. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Nexus Lab. We're helping airlines comply with evolving government mandates, resulting in greener flights and save money in the process. This is critical for airlines because every single airline in the world produces contrails. They are the white clouds left behind the plane, and they have a significant greenhouse effect, contributing 5 times more to global warming than CO2. And that's the reason why, beginning in 2025, all airlines in the European Union will have to monitor, report, and verify their contrails impact. And that's where we come in. We have developed a software solution to help airlines choose the optimal flight paths that minimize the contrail formation while automating the emission reporting to meet the government mandates. Our technology and prediction model leverages years of satellite data, flight radar information, and weather models alongside aircraft and engine specification to deliver unparalleled accuracy in this space. And we're starting in Europe, targeting a $1 billion market. As this regulation expands to US and globally, Nexus Lab is ready to scale rapidly and serve airlines worldwide. Because our team has a proven record in developing advanced prediction model through our work in energy sector. And this expertise has enabled us to create a unique solution tailored for aviation. Nexus Lab, turning regulatory challenges into cost-saving opportunities. Get on board as we become a key player in the aviation sector.
Shokruk is what you call hack it till you make it. Because 10 years ago in 2014, while studying at university, he noticed that Telegram didn't support the Uzbek language. Using Telegram's open source code, he created an Uzbek version of the Telegram app and shared it with university students, resulting in over 1,000 people using it. From that moment, he discovered his passion for building products that people love. Here to tell us more about his solution contributing to better AI, please, Shokruk.
We launched this year, and more than 5,000 AI engineers trust us. And we are generating 150K ARR. This is because better data makes better AI. For example, self-driving cars like Tesla or healthcare systems require huge amounts of data to train AI models effectively. However, it requires huge amount of labeled data. It's slow, costly, and leads to delays in AI development. We solved this. Hi, I'm Shohrukh, CEO of UnitLab. We built AI-powered data platform that speed up data preparation for AI training. In this example, let's see how difficult manual labeling is for self-driving solutions and how UnitLab does it in seconds with auto-labeling tools. Using UnitLab AI, customers speed up data annotation by 15 times and reduce costs by 5 times. That's why our customers love us. Over 5,000 AI engineers uploaded more than 6 million images. With 35% month-over-month growth, we are on the track to reach 1 million ARR by next year. This is just part of $12 billion data annotation market. My team and I have 8 years experience in AI, building world-class solutions such as Maspresso, Kanda, and Lurulab. AI exists because of data. Let's build better AI with better data.
Next, we have a founder who speaks 5 languages and at just 4 years old was able to identify all the world's flags. There is not a sport he has not tried, however, his go-to choice is playing pool. He even had the chance to referee the televised Estonian National Championship finals. Making his mark on this stage with Markster, let's bring on Valdis.
I'm Valdis, founder of Markster. Our team has built and scaled companies from zero to hundreds of millions of dollars. And that exposes to the struggles small businesses face when they don't have time or money to set up complex sales systems like enterprise teams are used to having. That's why we built Markster, an intelligent sales operating system that helps small businesses to grow their revenue without needing to hire more people or set up complex and costly tools. Markster's AI-enabled sales manager identifies the best customers based on a client's existing market and existing client lists. It then creates outreach content, provides a sales strategy, and even walks the salesperson through its implementation. Our AI gets smarter with every interaction, helping businesses identify actionable next steps to increase their revenue by 35%. And people are excited to use Markster. We just onboarded our first customers, and we have a growing waitlist of over 1,400 businesses. Our market is huge. There are over 100 million digital SMBs globally that can use Markster to boost their revenue. As the all-in-one sales operating system, we empower small businesses to unlock their full growth potential.
Don't let Laura's kind, open demeanor fool you. Just last year, she participated in the Hero program at Tim Draper's incubator, where she spent a week in the wilderness with limited food and water, trained by real Marine Corps. All of this was designed to teach resilience and adaptability under extreme pressure. Skills that are pretty much the same as building a startup, which she's now applied to Al Dente AI. Everyone, let's welcome Laura to the stage.
We recently launched and already have Panda Express on board. Let me show you why. Managing a busy restaurant or coffee shop means every second count. Yet most rely on staff report or manual check to understand what's happening. But what if you could track every customer's journey in real time, from the moment they walk in to the moment they leave? With Al Dente AI, you can. We track key aspects of customer experience: sit-in time, food delivery, and even how often the staff check in at the table. We analyze customer emotions, like enjoying the service or feeling frustrated. We even check if your staff is offering upsell opportunities, all while maintaining customer privacy. Happy customers spend more, return more, and grow your business. No more hours on manual effort. We deliver data in seconds through chat and dashboards to enhance customer experience, optimize operation, and increase retention. That all grow your revenue by up to 30%. And businesses just love us. In 2 months, we crossed 10K in MRR through our subscription model. We are working with Panda Express and are in discussions with Chipotle. It gives us access to over 6,000 locations in 15 countries. In the US alone, our opportunity for 200,000 restaurant chains is worth $2 billion. Globally, it is 50 times larger. Our team is strong, with expertise in data solution, AI, computer vision, and hospitality. We take raw data from cameras, cook it to al dente, and serve it as actionable insights. Curious about how we do it? I'm Laura. Let's chat after this.
We've already heard from 7 companies from batch 7 and have 6 more to go. Next up, another brilliant mind we have, as Rodian went to university at 14, studying physics, and graduated when he was just 18 years old. He went on to get his master's degree at 19. He did consider pursuing a PhD in physics, but then he saw no more logic in doing that and ended up co-founding a marketing agency, and now telemetry. Here to tell us more is Rodian.
What makes Meta and Google Ads so good and so expensive? They have unmatched data on what we like and how we behave, allowing for highly targeted ads. But this success comes at a price. Advertisers compete for the same audience, which drives acquisition costs higher every year. Meanwhile, 3 billion people spend hours on messaging apps like Telegram and Discord, where the cost to reach users is 10 times lower than on Meta or Google. But advertisers weren't really able to fully tap into these platforms because they lack the right data and the right tools. That's why we built telemetry, a powerful analytics tool that unlocks the full potential of these platforms. Here's how it works. We analyze user behavior on messaging apps, tracking their activity in mini apps, channel subscriptions, and even reactions to posts. This data gives marketers the insights they need to run targeted campaigns, which is something that wasn't possible before. We make money in 2 ways: pay-as-you-go subscriptions or performance-based fees on the campaigns we manage. And in just 4 months, we hit 140K ARR with more enterprise customers in trial. Our expertise in data science has already allowed us to become the #1 analytics tool for Telegram. And if you want to know how we did it, talk to me after this.
Sandro is a certified piano teacher, music writer, and composer. He is a big music enthusiast and has already composed 19 pieces of classical music, even though he only started taking piano lessons at 14 years old. His artistic side, combined with his passion for tech and building items, brought him to create Widgera. Come on up, Sandro.
Remember websites in the early days? In the 90s, they were static, like newspapers. No interaction, no engagement, no convergence. By the 2000s, basic interactions appeared. You could leave comments and download files. Things got even smarter in 2010s. You could shop online, book appointments, and live chat. Interaction shifted from just reading content to engaging with interfaces. But here is the problem. Through all those stages, you interacted with web technologies. But now with Widgera, web technologies interact with you. Let's see how it works. Imagine a bank website which adapts to you. If you often transfer money, the transfer option moves to the top of the web page. If you frequently check your account balance options move to the top. It learns an automatically customized interface for every visitor individually, boosting conversion rates by up to 8 times. That's exactly what Widgera does. It's the next generation web builder powered by adaptive intelligence. Since July, more than 2,000 web apps across 30 countries have been created websites on Widgera. Our team is experienced. We created e-commerce and ERP software for over 100 businesses worldwide. But now we created a tool so intuitive that anyone can create and publish websites, even from smartphone, in just 10 minutes. I invite you to try Widgera from your smartphone right now and experience the future of web building.
The next founder has an assortment of experiences from having lived in 6 countries, founding different businesses, to holding multiple degrees, including a master's in property. At university, he had 2 companies while also managing nightclubs, and this was when he was just 18. You never guessed that Ado was also managing fashion shows and producing evening dresses that Hollywood celebrities wear on red carpets. If that wasn't diverse enough, he was also helping students get opportunities to study abroad so as to open doors to new horizons. Now to tell us more about a workplace solution that every company needs, let's welcome Ado from Workplace.
COVID changed the way we work, making work-from-home policies and workspace planning highly debated topics. In reality, there's no one-size-fits-all, as companies have different goals and cultures, while employees have unique work patterns and preferences. The optimal workplace strategy requires aligning people and places to maximize efficiency, effectiveness, and engagement. This leads to 18% higher productivity, 43% greater retention, and 30% in real estate savings. In fact, in 2023, Google invested more than $600 million to redefine its workplace strategy, which is not only costly, but it's also complex. And actually, only 1% of companies have a working strategy. That's why we built Workplace, the first SaaS platform that integrates people and place data to enable companies at scale analyze, configure, and manage their workplaces. It's simple. Employees fill out their workplace profiles as we analyze space utilization to provide companies, based on their objectives, tailored and actionable recommendations. This is a science with proven frameworks and industry benchmarks that our team mastered over decades. We are real estate and tech experts from Fortune 500 companies who have shaped workplace strategies for the likes of Uber and Samsung, and authored leading real estate publications. In just 3 months, we've generated more than $100,000 in revenue, working with clients from government agencies to SMEs to multinational companies. We also have, through our partner-led growth market strategy, a growing $1 million pipeline. It includes the likes of Amazon and Coca-Cola. We're after a $75 billion market, growing 18% annually. Join us in transforming workplaces, from places of work to places that work.
Lots of doctors in the house, PhD kind today here. Ivan holds a PhD in applied mathematics, and in his thesis was working on designing orbits for space telescopes. The final product resulted in the successful launch of the telescope Spectre RG, which has its own Wikipedia page, but Ivan moved on to machine learning. Now, combining those skills of working around maximum efficiency and intelligent knowledge, here's Ivan to share more about Iki AI.
For years, we've been researching in books and libraries. Then came the internet and Google search. Today, we've got large language models like ChatGPT answering our questions. But finding the right information is challenging. Knowledge workers, consultants, lawyers, and engineers spend over 400 hours per year searching internal systems and the web. And the problem is even bigger for teams. Valuable data is scattered across multiple sources. We bring these pieces together, large language models and a search engine, united in a single space connected to all your knowledge sources. Iki is the new interface to professional knowledge, a digital library with an assistant to navigate and research for you. Ask any question and complete your research in minutes. Unlike ChatGPT, Iki doesn't guess, providing you with precise, context-aware answers relying on your data. It can also browse web to augment your knowledge. Iki is powered by a proprietary retrieval augmented generation system. We search your data, fetch relevant context, and feed it to the model to reason upon. It's not just a library, but a proactive thinking assistant, automating your workflow. Ask it to perform market analysis and enjoy a factual report with the references. We've launched our MVP, and in just 2 months, gained over 1,000 of paying customers, generating more than 150K in sales. We've seen clear market pull, and now are onboarding teams, starting with consultants. That alone is a $200 billion market. And we've got a perfect team for that. I bring 10 years of experience in natural language understanding, leading product for voice assistant with over 1 million of monthly active users. And my co-founder, Max, has more than 20 years of design and research experience, serving top global clients. We're building a brand new interface to professional knowledge. Come join us on this journey.
Our next founder presenter volunteered to move to rural Japan to restore an ancient Shinto shrine for 3 months. This was featured in local Japanese news, and he has a photo to prove it. Please do ask him to show you. It's guaranteed to put a smile to your face. Ilya also worked on tokenization initiatives at the United Nations headquarters in New York, ran digital banking projects for global major banks for 6 years. Now ready to present N Volume to you, please, Ilya.
$80 million people jumped into the crypto bull run in 2021. And by the following year, most watched their investments get cut in half. Do you wonder why? Because crypto's volatility is extremely hard to handle. People just trade like gambling. They bet big, sell in panic, and then blame the house. Traditional markets face similar issues. But hedge funds, they use sophisticated technologies, big data, machine learning, to turn volatility into opportunity. They make massive profits and avoid long-term losses. Today, Envolume is bringing this exact approach to the crypto market. We have already built an automated trading system for Deutsche Bank and AI components for Binance and Google. Now, we're giving hedge fund quality AI algorithms straight to individual crypto investors. If your crypto was managed by Envolume since 2021, you'd have seen 300% profit, 10x higher than the market performance. Envolume's AI works 24/7. We analyze thousands of events, news, reports, even Reddit threads, to get market sentiments. It safeguards your funds during crashes and catches growth spikes to deliver profits, while most are in the red. With one click, connect your exchange account to Envolume, choose your risk profile, and let AI do the rest. Unlike traditional investments, your funds are fully accessible at all times because they never leave your account. With 500 million people already investing in crypto, there is a $250 billion opportunity. We're building the next generation of investment services for the crypto market. Don't gamble with your future, invest with us.
Rounding up the Batch 7 presentation showcase, but certainly not the last startup presentation just yet, we have Alex from Mentica. At 10 years old, Alex started his first business making a whopping $20 selling his old toys. He had the idea, then managed to band together 15 other kids in school to do the same, and they held a backyard garage sale on their own, trading Pokemon cards and selling old toys. He told me that the intention was to make some money, but he then proceeded to use the $20 to buy other toys. Using his people skills to uplift others around him with Mentica, please welcome Alex.
In the US, 40 million people quit their jobs every year, costing companies over $1 trillion in lost productivity. Do you know why? The number one reason is that HR lacks resources to support their workforce. Picture Mary, the manager, helping her employee Tom with his career path. Tom has no clear vision for his career and doesn't know what skills to prioritize. And Mary feels unequipped to guide Tom effectively. As a result, Tom gets disengaged and looks for another job. I'm Alex, founder of Mentica. We help managers like Mary give Tom the tools to develop the right skills, hit career milestones, and ultimately stay engaged with the company. Our AI coach interviews Tom and analyzes his one-on-one with the manager to identify his strengths, weaknesses, and ambitions. Then, Mantica creates a personalized career development plan to get Tom to his next milestone. Finally, Mantica keeps Tom accountable to his plan by sending him proactive nudges. As a result, Tom grows in his role, Mary gets support, and the company improves employee retention. Unlike other AI HR tech products built for senior leaders, Mantica supports the entire workforce. That allows us to capture the $100 billion market for career development at enterprise companies. In just 10 months, we've generated over $300,000 in revenue by helping individuals from Google, Bloomberg, and BMW to get promoted. And building on that success, we've started working with Decathlon, while Coca-Cola and Hilti have expressed interest to use our product. Our team brings C-level expertise, tackling employee churn at companies like Apple, Viber, and Activision Blizzard. Join us to help companies turn talent into their greatest advantage.
Ladies and gentlemen, those were our 13 startups from Batch 7 of the 500 Global Accelerator Program in Georgia. I hope you enjoyed them all and took notes down on all of them that you want to continue connecting with after the event. We will also have 2 more presentations later as we bring back alumni to share their progress since we last heard from them on their demo day stage. But before that, we're switching it up with a wonderful panel lineup moderated by Lucy Adams from Tech EU, the premium source of EU technology news. Joining Lucy on stage via Zoom, we will have Conrad Howard, co-founder and CIO of Booksy, and Asta Yadav, head of global strategy at Bolt. Booksy makes it easy to find self-care appointments and started out in Poland, while Bolt is a European mobility super app that offers services from ride-hailing to grocery services that started out in Estonia.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for joining us. From the moment that Pedro and Christine stepped on stage today, I thought, wow, that's going to be a really difficult act to follow. And then ever since then, every single founder who has stepped up has really met the mark. So this is going to be a lot of fun. For those who don't know me, I'm Lucy Adams. I write for Tech EU, covering the rise and rise of venture capital all the way across Europe. And today, we're going to be talking about emerging markets, obviously, and navigating the choppy waters of international expansion with 2 high-level executives who have played the game and won. To be honest, they've set the playbook. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Asta Yadav, the global head of strategy at Bolt, and Conrad Howard, the chief innovation officer and co-founder of Booksy. So firstly, I'll start with you, Asta. We all know that Bolt was founded in 2013 in Estonia, but if you could tell us a little bit, before we get into any of the hows and the whys, if you could tell us about Bolt's trajectory since then in terms of international expansion, where did you go first?
All right. So good question, Lucy. So I think I can talk a little bit high level about the expansion that happened before my time, and then maybe I can talk a bit more depth since I joined. So I joined Bolt maybe about 5-ish years ago. We were still a very small ride-hailing company in 28 markets and just had 1 core vertical. But now we have 5 verticals, more or less in 50-ish markets, right? Not all the verticals in all the markets, but overall like 50 markets. Going back when it started in Estonia, I think one of the few places that they expanded first, I was still not there, by the way, back in 2013 here, was generally neighboring countries, which they thought were closer to the demographics and the value prop that they were offering. So it was actually Latvia and Finland.
Okay, Conrad, how about you? Are you able to tell us about Booksy?
Absolutely. Booksy is the SaaS-driven marketplace for beauty industry with over 40 million users, and I believe now over 140,000 businesses is ranked among the top 10 most popular apps in the US. Initially, we started in the US, And then we expanded to other markets like the UK, Brazil, France, Spain, and six other markets.
And Conrad, those emerging markets that you were speaking about, are you able to tell us about how those market conditions shaped what Booksy was in the beginning and in its earlier iterations?
Absolutely. When it comes to books, it's the story of two bald guys who went to the US to build a beauty business for women. So despite having no experience in the beauty industry and very, very limited network in the US, so it's a bit of a weird story. But that time we knew that we were capable of developing any software we could imagine here in Poland. We had an access to very high skilled people and cost efficient technical talent. Where developers here in Europe and scientists are consistently ranked in top 5 in global programming competitions. So we knew that we have a talent pool to start. And additionally, as one of the few startups here in Poland entering the US market directly, we had that opportunity to stand out and stay at the top of mind for local VCs. That was also very important. But most importantly, we also believe in the value of operating in the largest possible market, which is US, enabling us to scale quickly while maintaining a much lower cost base compared to our competitors. In terms of other learnings, what we didn't know was how to navigate in the US. We didn't know how much about the differences in terms of user expectations, in terms of nuances related with local marketing, and generally how to craft a successful go-to-market strategy in the US. We thought we knew, but we were wrong in many cases, and these were lessons we learned along the way during the process with many twists and challenges. And finally, we were determined to succeed, and our strong technical team in Poland allowed us to test, gather feedback, and iterate project very quickly. And I believe that was the most important factor, the adaptability, our ability to learn, pivot, and move forward faster than others. That was the key of our success.
I'm just going to push back on you there because you've said something so interesting. So Asta, I'll come to you again in a second. But Conrad, you said that there are a lot of lessons that you've learned. We have so many founders, early stage founders in the room tonight. Are you able to expand on any advice that you would turn that into for them, any mistakes that they shouldn't make? As particularly with the US and in respect to expanding into the US, you said that was difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I have learned that teams composed of people with diverse experiences and backgrounds are usually stronger and more innovative. At Booksy, we have created a unique company culture by bringing together people from over 7 different countries. And this diverse perspective and access to broader talent pool give us significant competitive advantage. We also aren't afraid to experiment. And as an example, when we started Booksy in 2013, we made the bold decision to launch in multiple markets in the same time, including the US, the UK, Poland, Brazil, South Africa, Hong Kong, India, Philippines, and even Argentina. However, we quickly realized that we had stretched ourselves too much and underestimated the complexity of developing different markets. So we had to close half of those markets early on. But finally, that experience gave us an important lesson: the need to remain flexible and focus on markets and projects with the highest potential. So we became more data-driven later on, testing ideas rapidly and applying those insights to refine our approach to both product and go-to-market strategy.
That's certainly an experiment. Perhaps an
Yeah.
expensive lesson,
So
but
that-
definitely a valuable one.
Yeah, so that lean approach is very, very important in my opinion.
Astha, circling back to you, what can you tell us about how the market conditions in Estonia, obviously before you were there, and then maybe over the next early few years, about how that shaped Bolt's strategy, and then maybe how that strategy changed?
I think I'll actually give you an interesting anecdote. So Bolt has 5 verticals, right? It has ride-hailing, it has micromobility. Guys might have seen it in like Georgia as well, maybe. Then it has car sharing in some of the markets. It has food delivery and it has grocery delivery. Now, when I came in, we only had ride-hailing, and we worked a lot on these 0 to 1 projects for food delivery, grocery delivery, rentals, which is both micromobility as well as car sharing. So the interesting anecdote that I was going to share was that our first ever market for micromobility was not actually Estonia. It was Paris. And within 3 months of launch in Paris, we were the first ever micromobility players who entered the market. Within the first 3 months, I think we lost 20% of our fleet to vandalism. People threw them in the river. People took them to the top of their building and dropped them and made TikTok videos, and literally kind of did anything and everything that they wanted with the scooters. And 3 months in, after losing so much hardware that we actually invested in ourselves, we were like, ooh, it doesn't seem like this is the right market, or at least the timing for this market is not right. And I think 4 months in, we actually mission abort. Paris market was actually canceled. And one of our great learnings from this experiment was that we have to be very cautious of how matured the market is. Also, other data-driven aspects which can give us a proxy of the likelihood of vandalism and, let's say, churn of fleets and vehicles we would have, because this is a huge, huge cost item on our balance sheet, right? Because we are actually doing these like upfront investment in terms of capex. So what we learned was some of the ways we could proxy this with data is things like, like prime index of those particular cities that you can see. You can see other sorts of proxies, like also unemployment rates. You can see also some sort of like unhappiness rates as well. But I think there are different websites which you can use to track a proxy for these things. And we, along with just understanding the market size itself, purely because Paris theoretically had a huge market size, but we just couldn't operate there because somehow the fleets just kept getting destroyed. What we wanted to do was try it in a market where we can actually run the operation without losing 50% of our fleet, right? Like to vandalism. And that was a very good learning for us. And that was then the series of markets we prioritized, where it's okay for us to have like the addressable opportunity, but at least let's reach some sort of product market fit without having a huge dent on our balance sheet. And that brought us to the Baltics. And for us, then we came back and started launching scooters in the Baltics. And for 1 or 2 seasons, I think they did pretty great. And of course, then we had a lot of learnings in terms of what works in terms of the market and what doesn't. And then that's how we expanded more and more markets. And it took us a bit more time to go into cities where we thought, okay, it's going to be a bit dangerous for our fleet to exist for a long term. And this is like kind of an example of just one of the verticals of what we learned from like launching in one market and kind of trying to apply the learnings of what not to do into other markets.
No, that's such a valuable lesson. It's something that Konrad touched on as well, especially if you then ventured back into the Balkans. I wanted to ask, obviously, Bolt started up in Estonia. Do you think that, which in 2013 was not as developed of a market, do you think that that gave Bolt an edge?
I think that maybe the market conditions that probably gave Bolt a bit of edge was also, I would say like it was matured. In fact, if you think of ride-hailing industry, even Uber started somewhere around like 2011, 2012, even like other ride-hailing companies in different parts of the world were starting around the same time. So most of the other players were also just figuring out how the business model works, right? So I don't think it was very much about the maturity of Estonia in particular. I think it was just about the maturity of how ride-hailing marketplaces work and how do the drivers and the fleet owners or the partners who have these cars and have drivers employed as well think of earnings. Because back in the day, they would just want to have maybe one ride, which paid them 50 euros, instead of doing like 10 rides, which pay them 5 euros each, right? So I think it was more about like actually trying to educate the market about what marketplace is. How do you optimize your earnings per hour? How do you make sure there's actually a value in like, finishing more orders? And also to generate demand on the customer side, because we had to understand that customers wanted more affordable and let's say quicker arriving rides. It was, I think, definitely not another existing player in the market. And I think that's why the value prop kind of found its product market fit in the first year itself, which helped them slowly like start expanding to other markets like the rest of the Baltics and Nordics as well. So I think Finland was the first in the Nordics, and then especially more and more towards Central Eastern Europe. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Conrad, I'm really interested by Asta's comparison of the different data points that had to be weighed up when approaching expanding into an emerging market. I was wondering if you yourself have any kind of similar examples of where you had to balance the pros versus the cons, maybe in a more developed market, and then something unexpected happened, such as the vandalism of bikes or anything.
Yeah, well, based on my experience, it's really hard to fully uncover go-to-market and product-market fit for nuances for new markets with all nuances without really actively engaging with users and being present in the market. Let me give you an example. For example, in Poland, we don't have significant ethnic diversity. In the US, however, the diversity presents both challenges and opportunities. And many of our competitors that time focused their marketing on Caucasian users. And when we entered the US in 2014, we recognized an untapped opportunity in the Latino and Afro-American communities. And by tailoring our approach to product and go-to-market, we were able to grow much faster instead of competing in already crowded segment. Another example is related with the business model differences in the beauty industry. For example, here in Europe, beauty salons are typically owned by an owner who employs staffers. In the US, however, the market is dominated by solo entrepreneurs renting chairs in beauty salons. And these users have completely different needs. They prioritize tools that provide peace of mind, like automated communication, self-service payments, or they want to build their online presence in social media rather than manage the business. And basically, in majority of cases in the US, our users, they don't want to manage the business. So initially, that was very surprising for us and difficult to uncover without truly, immersing ourselves in the market. We spent a lot of time guessing what users need, and we also missed a lot of opportunities as results. So eventually, in 2016, we moved part of our team to the US to better understand the market and adapt accordingly. And that really helped us align our offer with user needs and finally significantly improved our ability to scale in the US, but also to other markets to other markets in that region.
These kind of on-the-ground anecdotes are so invaluable. And you've attacked this question from so many different angles over the course of 15 minutes. I was wondering if you could just sum up, condense what you've said into one most valuable point or piece of advice for people to take away who are thinking about expanding internationally. Asta, would you like to go first?
Yeah, in my experience, especially when starting a new venture, you often feel unprepared. There is always something in motion. You want to have more complete product, a better understanding of marketing spends, or more secure financial pillow. But the truth is that there will always be something missing. And the key is to align the opportunity window with a product and business model that is just good enough to start. And because you can't predict and prepare for everything, and that's absolutely okay in terms of startup. And I am a big advocate to learn quickly, meet the users as soon as possible, deliver product in short cycles, and constantly iterate the business. That's my advice. If you have a good feeling about something, just trust your intuition, validate it with numbers, and once you start gaining traction and have an initial playbook for scaling, just bring it to investors, evaluate it together, and give it a shot.
Brilliant, thank you. Asta, take it away.
I actually very much want to agree with what Conrad said. I think you can always put numbers together, and there's always data that you can extract. But a lot of things that you're going to be doing are not going to be in the same ideal case scenario, right? Think of it think of your model as a lab, and what is happening outside might not have the ideal conditions. So you definitely need to have some sort of pragmatic confidence based on your understanding of the market itself, and of course the opportunity size that there is, taking in account other things that can affect your business, especially regulations, because that can have a big impact on failure or success. Also other things like how is your capital runway? How are you actually thinking about investing that capital either in R&D or expanding into a new market? So you definitely have to sort of balance these things out. A lot of it can be based on pragmatic confidence. But one of the main things that people need to realize that it's not just the size of the market, but what is your own capability and right to win in that market, right? And how you define it is basically how well are you addressing the problems that you want in that particular market, and if actually your customers and suppliers, if it's a marketplace, right, resonate with the message that you're also bringing along with your product. Because a lot of times you might have competing products, and also not all the ideas are always new ideas, but they could be resonating with different kinds of customers. And actually, because of your own, let's say, personality type of the company itself, and how you position yourselves to the potential customers. An example for it is and this is a bit of feeling, I know that in some of our markets, Bolt is associated more to younger, more vibrant, or hip people, compared to Uber maybe is associated to a bit more matured crowd, maybe people who are traveling for businesses, etc. So this can also impact the kind of markets you're entering in, and how do you define at what point is this successful or is this not successful? Is this time to stop loss limit and exit? Or should I continue investing because maybe I'm not still recognizing the payback, but there needs to be patience because you do believe with this pragmatic confidence that there will be eventually this payback because of the value prop and the customers that you're addressing.
This panel could go on for hours, but the evening must roll on. So thank you very much to you guys for your time. I'm sure some of the founders here can follow in your footsteps and bring the innovation from Eurasia onto the global stage. Thank you again.
Thank you. And guys, fingers crossed for your endeavors.
Good luck as well. Thank you so much, Lucy, as well. And thank you so much, Conrad. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Asta, Conrad, and Lucy for the insightful exchange into the Eurasia scene. As Lucy said, I'm sure our founders listening and here and online have found meaningful takeaways to implement and continue accelerating their growth. I took away pragmatic confidence. We're now at the last segment of our event today, the Alumni Showcase. My team and I have the privilege to work with our founders every day, within and beyond the program, to continue fueling their success. Alex from Kovzi, Iyako from Helio, and their teams came to us with business challenges, an early-stage product, and a massive appetite to grow fast. Both teams have gone on to expand beyond Georgia, alongside 500's continuous support for them as portfolio companies. So first up, we have Alex. Alex is a true hustler and has founded and exited other Georgian companies, including e-commerce giant B2C GE, Solaris, Smart GPS, and Quick Cash. He's a massive rugby fan, so you'll catch him at every national rugby game. And now, presenting to you Kovzi, let's welcome Alex.
Since joining 500 Eurasia, we have reached remarkable results. We tripled our restaurants base and reached $13 million of annual sales of our merchants. Today, restaurants face three main challenges. Food delivery platforms cut profit margins, operational chaos and complexity of using digital solutions that they currently have. This is why we created Kovzi, a SaaS platform that combines all restaurant operations into a single, easy-to-use system and enables direct sales with 4 times higher profit margins. Our business model is simple. Restaurants pay monthly subscription plus 1% sales fee. Today, we are working with more than 600 restaurants in Georgia, and we had just launched Armenian market. This year, people will spend $7 billion on online food orders in our target markets. And as of today, only 3% of restaurants will have their websites to accept and fulfill them. And this untapped market is our target. I'm Alex. I co-founded one of the largest Georgian e-commerce platforms. Sandro rolled out KFC's regional delivery program, and Levan built cloud software at Google. Digitalization of food industry in Georgia is fully underway. Next is Europe, which is where we belong. And if you want to come and talk about the future of the restaurants, you can meet me on Rustaveli Avenue tonight. Thank you.
The last of our showcase tonight will be by Iyako. This is a superwoman who knows how to go out and win. Not too long ago, she was playing competitive tennis and rose to become the top tennis player in Georgia and number 2 in Europe. Lighting up any room she walks into and shining on stage today, I'm really proud for Iyako to come out and share with you what the team has achieved with Helio.
Five months after standing on this stage, we increased our revenue by 3 times to 180K, and hundreds of international brands signed us, because no one else helped there, unlike us. Imagine, recruiters spend 32 hours per week performing manual tasks, reading thousands of resumes, and trying to assess candidates' personality and soft skills. And still, 9 out of 10 hires are behind schedule, and each of them costs $4,000. But we fixed that. Helio makes hiring 10 times faster, and is going to be your next solution. Just ask our customers who switched from their top recruiting tools from US to us. We are the world's first AI-powered platform with a local language hiring and personality tests. We help recruiters to post thousands of jobs across different channels and collect resumes all in one place. What makes us different from others is our game-based psychometric tests that rates candidates' personality traits and combines with our unique AI model to suggest the top candidates. Our platform has screened up to 100,000 applications, and recruiters say that 90% of suggested candidates are a great match. That's how we keep our churn just 1% and continue growing 30% month over month. And I'm proud to share that just in November, 25 new brands joined us, including Lacoste and Samsonite, and there is no stopping us. Currently, we're focused on companies that rely on customer-facing employees. This represents a $5 billion recruiting market, and we are monetizing it with a per-recruiter subscription. We have deep expertise in fields that matter, HR and AI. And our CTO was part of world-leading AI research institutes. We worked together for more than 7 years and already had successful exit as a team. If you want to know why hundreds of top international brands choose Helio, come, talk to us.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a great time with us this evening. You've just heard from 2 of our alumni come back to share their growth journey alongside 500 Global, a panel exchanging insights from Bolt, Booksy, and Tech EU. 500 CEO Christine Tsai and partner Pedro Santos Vieira go deeper into 500's genesis and our Eurasia DNA. And 13 of our brightest from Batch 7 of the Accelerative program from sectors across FinTech, MarTech, Knowledge Management, and more. Our team at 500 Global is really proud of all our founders and what they have accomplished and will set out to accomplish. But Demo Day is not over yet. I invite you to join our founders at their booths up on the rooftop, 1 floor up, to carry on discussions about their venture and also for you to tell them what a good job they did. We will also be serving more refreshments and bites over in the networking area. For our friends joining us online, please do connect with our founders over a call. Their information is available on our event page, or you can reach out to me and my team. You can also find 500 Eurasia across social media channels, so please follow and tag us on any photos you may have taken today, including those of startup booths later. A quick note about the booths. They were designed and animated by Catalyst AI, also our portfolio company and alumni. Putting our companies hard at work no matter where they are. Those of you here will get to feel and see the products that our companies work so hard for. Batch 7 is coming to a close, but the 500 team is already hard at work considering applications for Batch 8 of the program. We're looking out for the bestest and brightest who have tied back to the Eurasia region, so please head over to our website to find out more on how you can apply. At this point, I'd like to acknowledge and thank the people and teams that made all of this possible today. Our partners, Bank of Georgia and Georgia's Innovation and Tech Agency, JITA. Our mentors, Justina, Brianna, Nicholas, and Stefan, and the many more who continue supporting us wherever they are. Thank you for bringing the best out of the startups and being part of their acceleration journey. To the co-founders and team members of our portfolio companies, your support behind the scenes may not always be in the spotlight on stage, but we know and see that your actions all contribute to your company's success. And to my 500 Global team, volunteers, and vendors who made all of this happen today, thank you, thank you, thank you. Last but not least, our team extends our appreciation to all of you here in the room with us tonight and online. Your support means a lot to the startups, they told me. So before we head over for networking, a last invite please on stage to our presenters, co-founders, panelists, partners, mentors, and 500 team to take a group photo. Thank you, everyone, and it was a great honor to have you all here today. See you at networking and for Batch 8.